If you thought that Lucasfilm or Disney Star Wars was going to change in 2024, well, you would have been completely and totally wrong. It only took one day on New Year's when Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy gave an interview to CNN to talk about her plans for a galaxy far, far away with the Rey movie that people very quickly realized, wow, this is yet another activist hire for Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. And if you'd been paying attention for the past 8 months since she was announced to be directing the Rey movie, you would have already known that. This is someone who has almost no experience in filmmaking other than documentaries, aside from a few episodes of Ms. Marvel, the worst rated MCU show on Disney+. This is someone who is a self-described activist who has claimed multiple times that everything she does, she puts her activism into. Every single piece of filmmaking that she works on. And of course, this unqualified activist gets handed the keys to the next Star Wars movie that we see in theaters. So then people started tracking down other things that she said, and it created a massive wave of backlash. A backlash which people in the Access or Shill media have been desperate to push back on. Well, it's just people that don't like her because she's a woman. You got mad because it was announced that a woman was directing Star Wars. That was 8 months ago when that happened, and some people who found out quickly who she was, the type of person she is, the type of director, and the type of activist, yeah, we did push back and say, wow, another activist hire for Disney. This is surely going to bomb once again. But it wasn't until recently when some other people found that out. And you have these shills doing desperate damage control to try to defend Disney and try to insult the fan base, including this one right here, John Roca. Now, this guy is pretty much an irrelevant retard, and I wouldn't normally talk about him, except he specifically brought me into the conversation, so I felt like we had to. He decided to try to back up his claims, use a video of mine from over 2 years ago at this point. But this is really what started it all off. Grizzly clipped this out. Disney Star Wars shill / male feminist has a meltdown over Star Wars fans criticizing Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's comments about men.
I swear to God, men, reach down into your pants, find your fucking balls and your cock, and be okay with it. We can take a woman directing a film in Star Wars and live. We're all gonna fucking survive. I swear to God, you guys want to come off like you're tough motherfuckers, and you're a bunch of wusses. Finally, a woman gets to direct a theatrical feature in Star Wars with Rey, with other women leading the way. And there's nothing fucking wrong with that. I swear to God.
This is John Roca, right? Outlaw Nation. This is one of those guys who used to be on Collider back in the day, has really just become incredibly irrelevant now. And like I said, I wouldn't normally talk about this, except he decided to bring me into it. So we got to make sure to correct him on the record, because we have to correct retarded people when we see them. John Roca, aka Outlaw Nation, a meltdown? This is just a regular Thursday on the hot mic. And again, the only reason anyone cares about this show is because Jeff Snyder sometimes drops little hints as a Hollywood insider. That's the only reason people watch this to begin with. These sensitive snowflakes are the ones who actually melt down on YouTube videos if a female-led or POC-led movie gets announced in a franchise they supposedly love. Children, please. And I got to give a shout out to Bleeding Fool right here. No one melted down when Patty Jenkins was announced. Do your homework. John Roca immediately tries to shift the goalpost, but still tries to win this argument, which he fails at. That's dumb as fuck. Quite a few YouTube videos were made at Patty Jenkins' expense. Here, let me help you. It's you who needs to do the homework, you dope. Oh, well, let's see some of these videos, shall we? Mine is one of them. And you have Star Wars Girl and Mr. H reviews are the other ones that he linked. I want to show you these. This is Mr. H. Oh, what, a year ago? This was December 12th, 2022. What about Anna's? This was 2 years ago, November 15th, 2021. When was Patty Jenkins announced that she was going to be doing Rogue Squadron? Oh, wait, 3 years ago, December 10th of 2020. So these videos are both like basically a year or two after this announcement was made, and their videos specifically were after Patty Jenkins had already exited Star Wars, was no longer going to be making a Rogue Squadron movie. The other one happens to be mine, and shout out to Bleeding Fool for tagging me, otherwise I wouldn't have seen this. Only one of those three, Ryan Kinel's, were made while Jenkins was still on board, but a full 7 months after the announcement, which was made on December 10th. What do you know? Here's my video reacting to something she said. This is in July of 2021. You can go through my entire channel. I didn't talk any shit about Patty Jenkins when she was announced to be doing Rogue Squadron. Do you know why? Even though I had my doubts because I didn't want them to bastardize something. In this specific video was when Patty Jenkins says that, we're going to make a bunch of changes to the source material and blah, blah, blah. That's why I was critical of her in this video. But when it was announced, there wasn't a bunch of people that shit all over it. Do you know why? Because of the way it was announced. Not like Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, where she's like, I like making men uncomfortable. Those old quotes coming back up. She's not talking about, oh, I'm so excited because really it's 2024 and a woman should write the stories for Star Wars now, should shape the Star Wars universe, which Charmin Obaid-Chinoy also said. This is what Patty Jenkins did.
I love to move fast and speed of any kind. I think that that's because I grew up the daughter of a great fighter pilot, and every day I would wake up and go outside and look up and see my father and his squadron taking off and their F-4s roaring across the sky, and it was the most thrilling thing still I've experienced in my entire life. So when he lost his life in service to this country, it ignited a desire in me to turn all of that tragedy and thrill into one day making the greatest fighter pilot movie of all time. But try as I might and look as I did, I couldn't find the right story ever. I kept looking and looking, but I just couldn't find the right one until now. Now I found a movie about two things I love. So I'm gonna see you very soon.
Now, of course, this didn't work out very well. That movie got canceled, and this is before Patty Jenkins did Wonder Woman 84. This is coming off Wonder Woman. She was highly sought after by a lot of people and respected, and an interesting person to have come in and direct a movie, and some people had some decent high hopes. There was no backlash because she was a woman. She comes in, hey, I really want to tell an awesome fighter pilot story. I also love Star Wars. This seemed to be perfect. There was no backlash. There were no fans getting upset because she was announced as a director. That didn't fucking happen. Now, after Wonder Woman 1984, when people saw what they felt was like Patty Jenkins in total control, then people were like, whoa, this is a warning sign. This might not be very well. I don't know if I want that person having total and complete control of a Star Wars movie. But it was not based off an announcement. There's a reason that there's so much backlash for Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. It's not because she's a woman. It's because of what she's been saying. She's not talking about how much she loves Star Wars. She's talking about what an activist she is and how it's about time that a woman led this franchise forward. Nothing about, I have a lot of respect for George Lucas and what he's built. None of that shit. Nothing that would tell you that she's about to tell a compelling Star Wars story. That's why there's backlash. So shout out for tagging me in here, Bleeding Fool, and correcting the record on this retard who immediately tried to flip the script, saying that people got upset just because a person of color was announced. Men, find your balls. Don't get so upset just because a woman's gonna direct a Star Wars movie. Immediately tries to shift the goalpost. Well, these people were talking bad about Patty Jenkins. She got some backlash on YouTube. That's not what your argument was. Of course she did. Guess what? Kathleen Kenney's got a lot of backlash too. So has Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and a bunch of other people, right? When you make shit, you tend to get criticized. And before you've made something, if you go out there and say retarded things, you are also going to be criticized. That's what's happening right now to Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. And as much as shills like this loser and people in the access media are trying to defend it, leap to the defense of Charmin Obaid-Chinoy and Lucasfilm and everything, it's not going to work. Fans see straight through this bullshit, and they know she's not getting backlash simply because she's a woman. She's getting backlash for all the things that she said, not just prior to this, but also in the aftermath of it being announced that she's doing the next movie. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.